Trump supporting golfer John Daley did an interview with Tucker Carlson that got, how do I put this, really strange. Well, I have a weird moment for you of golfer John Daley, who's apparently a hardcore MAGA guy, talking about how he wants, and this is a direct quote, Daddy Trump back. Yeah, I saw multiple people respond to this clip by saying it's a cult, which indeed, and just a strange one. And by the way, John Daley's wearing red in the video you're about to watch, and the entire time I was just disturbed by the fact that it was Santa Claus telling me that he wanted Daddy Trump. It was just a bizarre experience, as you're about to experience. Take a look.
So when you're playing on tour, do you like go to dinner with the other players that night?
A lot of times, yeah. A lot of us hang out on the championship.
What are their so you're open in your politics? You're pretty direct about it.
Yeah.
I would say.
Where's common sense in our country?
Do you think you've got the majority view among golfers?
Yeah. I think all of us on the tours and everything, we all want Daddy Trump back.
Really? Why?
Because he was a great president, and he's a great guy once you get to know him. I've known him since the early 90s, and it was funny. I can't remember the tournament. He flew his helicopter in. We played a Pro-Am. We went out back. We talked a little bit, and when he stood up, he says, "Mark my words, I'll be president of the United States one day." This is back in 92, 93, 94 maybe.
How? Did you believe him?
I did.
Interesting.
He's an unbelievable, smart individual that people got to get behind him. We've got to do something.
So, but among professional golfers, that's like a pretty common view.
No doubt.
How's his golf? How would you assess it?
I got to work with his chipping a little bit, but he hits it good. He putts it good. We just got to work on his chipping.
What's wrong with the chipping?
He just got. I keep telling him, you got to move the ball up. Everybody thinks when you chip, you got to move it back. You actually need to move it up a little bit. If I don't see him for a while, it goes back to that bad habit again.
So when you correct him,
he chips it like Tiger or Phil.
So why not be like full-time Trump golf coach?
I don't think he has the time to play that much golf.
He does seem serious about it.
Oh, he loves it. He's passionate about it. But what I love about him, he plays quick. We go out and play golf. We could have an eights in with him, and we're done in 3 hours.
Really?
He don't mess around.
I've spoken to more Trump supporters in more places than most people, and I can tell you, up until now, I thought I heard it all. I really did. I've been told that Obama is still president. I've been told that Trump is still in control through the military. I've been told that Joe Biden died years ago. I've been told that January 6th was organized by Nancy Pelosi. I've been told that Trump is the king. But I have never, I repeat, I have never been told that Trump is one of the Trump supporters, quote, daddy. So it's a box we can cross off of our Trump supporter bingo card, I guess. With that being said, let's take this as an opportunity. Where do we go from there, guys? Let's take this as an opportunity to check in on the state of Trump support. Despite all the things we talk about in relation to Trump on the show on a daily basis, he is somehow still crushing his competitors in the Republican Party. I don't get it. I've stopped trying to get it. But here it is. In national polling, you have Trump sitting at 61.5%. And in second, you have DeSantis around 12%, Haley in third around 11%. So Trump has essentially a 50-point lead on everyone. Then if you zoom into the first contest, Iowa, which DeSantis, Haley, and Ramaswamy are all saying this is their big moment to shine, to turn things around, you have Trump still sitting at 46.7%, DeSantis at almost 20%, Haley at 15%. So still just dominating there as well. And it's true, of course, that the polls aren't necessarily predictive of what's going to happen, but when the polls show you that far ahead, this close to the first election, it's hard to imagine someone else could win. So this is the Republican Party. And I think it's important to acknowledge that Trump tried to overthrow our democratic process and install himself as the president. He's been indicted 4 times, impeached twice. He's a civilly liable rapist. But his followers don't care. They just don't care. Here's Stuart Stevens on MSNBC reminding us of this.
Well, look, when you have a guy who's facing 91 indictments and he seems to go up in the polls, what do we think is going to make him go down? He'll get acquitted. What's happening here is that Trump is really functioning as an incumbent president, running in a primary in his own party. And this is the most stable race we've ever seen for an open nomination. I mean, compare it back to Bush in '88, where, he lost Iowa. We've really never seen anything like this. He has a 27 to 29 point lead in New Hampshire. In South Carolina, you have Nikki Haley in this latest Monmouth poll has gone from 3 to 12%. But while she goes up, her favorability rate drops. So now, when no one really knew who she was, she had a 40% net favorable rating. Now she has just a 10-point favorable rating. So she's coalescing a non-Trump, non-MAGA support, but that really limits her rise. So these are really bleak numbers for all his challengers.
So why do I talk so much about the inevitability of Trump being the Republican nominee? Well, because pro-democracy Democrats, independents, and any of those moderate Republicans who still exist need to be ready for that outcome, because it's so likely going to play out that way. And so we have to be preparing to defeat him in the general election and explaining to people the importance of him losing in 2024. Instead of, as I see some people doing, holding out hope for these other unlikely scenarios. We should just acknowledge and then work within the context of, unless you're voting in the Republican primary, vote against him. But a lot of us, we just have to work within the context of most likely is going to be Biden versus Trump, and Biden needs to win. Both so that we can avoid an authoritarian nightmare, and because Biden will then hopefully continue governing as he has and getting things done. And by the way, another thing I want to discuss on Trump, I think his supporters don't feel like they should be worried about Trump's legal troubles because Trump acts like he's not worried. But let's be super clear. Trump is absolutely terrified about his 4 criminal trials. He's called all the cases weak and ridiculous, but he knows, in private at least, they are super strong and super serious, and that freaks him out. Here's former Trump aide Anthony Scaramucci making this point.
I just am curious what you think is kind of going through Donald Trump's head right now as Jack Smith is here surprising everyone by going past the appeals court, going straight to the Supreme Court, and basically trying to cut off Trump's known strategy of delaying his legal troubles.
So I think it's a brilliant move by Jack, but if you really want to get inside the president's mind, he's very, very worried. You've got 91 counts, 4 big indictments. It feels like he is the Al Capone of our current political system, meaning people think he's untouchable, just like they did with Al Capone or somebody like John Gotti, but they actually are not untouchable. And so he's very, very worried. I do know that he thinks because he appointed 3 of those justices, but he has 6 that are conservatives. I do think that he thinks he's got a good shot there. He thinks that court is politicized and will tip to his favor. And obviously Jack Smith doesn't think that. I certainly don't think that. And I think it's a great strategy, Caitlin. We'll have to see what happens, but I think the president is very worried.
Yeah, whether or not it works. And I mean, when you say he's very worried, it's not out there to say that what he is staring down right now potentially is a second term as president, or if he does end up going to trial, as is scheduled right now for at least one of these cases, this one that's at the heart of this, in March, that he could be potentially facing a prison sentence if they are successful in a conviction. I mean,
yeah, it's a good point made there at the end by Caitlin Collins. Trump sees that in the next year, he could either be heading to the White House or heading to prison. 2 very different places, I'll note, which is pretty wild. And I do think that he believes the only way he's going to avoid legal accountability is by making it to the White House. Yet another reason why he has to lose in 2024. Before we go, don't forget to become a member at lukebeasleyshow.com/membership to get the daily bonus show Monday through Friday. It's a great time join us. Plus, follow me on Threads at Luke Beasley Official, Instagram at Luke Beasley Official, X at Luke B. Beasley, and sign up for the Beasley Brief, a daily morning newsletter that summarizes the brief's day's events by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/brief, and I'll talk to you all next time.